Hey Ann, how are you? Welcome. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Sorry guys, I gotta touch my screen. There's something on there and it's bugging me. There we go. Nope, I didn't get it. There we go. You're good? Oh, that's good. I'm glad. Welcome back. So if you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. Welcome. And I'm from South Dakota. I'm going to turn my phone down just a little bit and then maybe that light just glares in my glasses so bad. I know it doesn't probably bug anybody else, but it bugs me. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Hello, hello. Anybody? I'm actually a little early. That hardly ever happens. You're from Omaha. That's right. I forgot you were from Omaha. Haven't been there for a while. Now that my husband's passed, I probably won't. I don't know if I'll ever go back. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Dream 51 from Pittsburgh. Do you have a name? I used to be a huge Steelers fan. Not so much anymore. I love football. Ronnie, welcome. That's my dad's name. Well, Ronald, but they call him Ronnie. See if anybody else is going to jump on, guys. Probably because nobody's used to me being this early. Hardly ever. I try. It's just, my life is just crazy. I don't even have kids. I'm not sure what you're trying to say. Is it Zane Lee? I'm not sure what that means. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Tell I'm going live. There's my throat chakra. It's like somebody doesn't like it when I go live. Okay, guys. Well, it's been a few minutes. Aw, thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and get started, and hopefully more will just hop on. That seems to be how it happens. So if you're new here, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. Thank you for the follow, Kenny. I appreciate that. Aw, thank you for the badge. Aw, look at the hearts. They have faces. I wondered what those little things coming up were. They have such crazy things. I knew they said they had different gifts, but I didn't know that they changed the... They have such crazy things. I knew they said they had different gifts, but I didn't know that they changed the... Aw. Cool. Alright, so my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, I apologize ahead of time. You've heard this a bunch of times. Like I said, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. I've been on TikTok. It's been a year in March. The reason I created my TikTok is because on September 14th of 2023, for TikTok purposes, my husband unalived himself. And that's when I discovered that I have abilities to talk to my guides. And they slowly breadcrumbed me to my purpose, which is to be here with all you lovely people. Thank you for the badge, Kenny. I appreciate that. And basically discovered that, what helped heal me is to help heal others. And so that's why I'm here. When I go live, my guides always give me the topic. So tonight we're going to talk about confidence. That's the topic they give me. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. I only have 2 rules here. I just ask one, that you always be kind. And if you can't do that, hop off. And the second one is we don't talk any politics here. It's not against one side or the other. It's just that's not what my page is about at all. And so we just don't do that. There's a million other pages out there for that. And I always like to say thank you for the hearts and the badge. I always like to say I am where I am on my journey of life and you are on your journey of life, and none of us are going to agree on everything. So we agree to disagree here. And if you can't do that, then I just ask that you hop off and keep scrolling also. So tonight we're going to talk about confidence. She gave me not quite 2 pages. Aw, thank you. Do you have a name and where are you from? And so tonight, confidence. And so I looked it up and it said a feeling of self-assurance, right? But we're going to talk about confidence in basically 3 primary parts of our life. Ourself, confidence in ourself, our work, our career, and our relationships. Will my man marry me, and so what year? I have no idea. I mean, I do have psychic abilities, but I would never do that on here. I'm more of a medium, actually. Do that on live either. Hope. Glad to see you, Hope. Where are you from, Hope? If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. And so the first one is ourself, confidence in ourself. And so I have being confident in yourself means having a firm belief in your abilities, your skills, and your judgment. Secure in your own skin. Does everybody have confidence in themselves? Anybody? And I didn't mention that we're not shy here, so pipe in anytime. You're never interrupting me. My page is your page. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee and I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. And like I said, I get these topics from my guides. Sometimes she gives me just the topic and says, go on. Then other times she'll give me a couple pages of things to talk about. So, and as usual, we use me as the guinea pig, my life, a lot. They like to do that. And a lot of times I'm here learning just alongside of you, with you. I can't talk ever. It's not just live. Anyway, so is anybody here don't have confidence? Sabotage by self-doubt. Oh yes, the old self-doubt. I like to call it, that's the ego. Sometimes that's our ego talking, right? And I always say sometimes we have to learn how to, the ego's there to protect us, so we need the ego, but on the other hand, sometimes it likes to sabotage us thinking it's protecting us. And so sometimes we need to learn when and how to tell that ego to just shut up, right? And I am so guilty of the self-doubt, self-sabotage. I have a great story about that, actually. I'm one of those people that for years I didn't have very little or none for self-esteem, and a lot of that had to do with I didn't love myself, and I learned to love myself after my husband passed. I was starting to learn to love myself before he passed, but not until really after. But before that, so back in my 20s and my 30s and my 40s, I was getting where I started doing that, more of the what's the word I'm looking for tonight? I apologize, guys. I'm up by 4:35. So by this time of night, I can't talk and my brain doesn't work. But I was just learning to love myself come my 40s, right? And there was a time where it was like I needed a job, and I think I was probably just right around 39, 40, somewhere in there. And it was like a Friday afternoon, and I read the job post, and it was like, oh wow, I think I can do that, right? It was an office job working for an orthodontist, and I thought, I can do that, right? And I knew though that if I didn't go apply for the job right there, right then, if I waited till Monday, by Monday I would have talked myself out of it. Anybody else ever do that? Sorry, I think I missed some stuff in the chat. Can I? No. Thank you for the badge. Is it Joe? And where are you from, Joe? And so I knew, since it was Friday afternoon, that if I had stewed over it all weekend, that I would talk myself out of it and I wouldn't go apply for the job. And so I went right away. I got an interview on the spot. I got the job, started Monday, right? And but that's a good example of self-sabotage. Anybody else ever do anything like that? Anybody? Like I said, we're not shy here, so pipe in. Hopefully they're not blocking my comments. They like to do that. They don't block out the trolls, just the good comments, even though I have all my filters off. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. So I'm just going to kind of talk and keep moving. You can, like I said, interrupt me anytime. And so being secure in your own skin. So what does that mean, right? I think that means loving yourself, right? And I think loving yourself has a lot to do with your self-confidence. Hold on, guys. See what I'm saying? They let the trolls come through, but they don't let my other, see what I'm saying? They let the trolls come through, but they don't let my other comments come through. I have no time for trolls tonight. Bye-bye. Go back to mommy's basement. Okay. And so I believe it has a lot, I think a lot of things stem back to learning to love yourself, right? Because maybe our confidence level would go up if we're not looking for other people's validation, right? And so when you learn to love yourself, you don't need that outside validation anymore, right? You love yourself, and right? And so when you learn to love yourself, you don't need that outside validation anymore, right? You love yourself, and so then you have confidence in yourself. I think it kind of comes hand in hand. South Florida Living 1972, thank you for the follow. Do you have a name and where you're obviously from Florida, I'm assuming? And so recognizing your value and your strengths, that's another thing, right? And it's telling me I have an unstable connection, so hopefully I'm not skipping and you can all hear me. Like I said, we're not shy here, so pipe in anytime. My page is your page. If you're just hopping on, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Tell me who you are, where you're from. Tonight we're talking about confidence. If you're not familiar, I talk to my guides, and when I go live, they give me the topic. And so that's the topic they give me for tonight. So, recognizing your value and your strengths, right? And I think there again, that all goes hand in hand. If you have confidence, you recognize your value, and then, you know, maybe, hopefully, you recognize your strengths. Let's see, what else did she give me here? Self-acceptance. And then you also learn to accept yourself too, right? And like I said, I believe all that stuff comes hand in hand, right? You recognize your value, you love yourself, you have self-confidence. And so self-acceptance both strengthens and weakens us without need for external validation, right? So like I was just saying, you don't need outside validation when you love yourself. Hi, I hope you're having a great evening. I am. I didn't get on last night because I was exhausted, so I apologize, guys. I'm normally here Sunday through Wednesday, and I was just so much. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. 717, that's one of my numbers. I'm a numbers girl if you're new here. I'm huge into angel numbers. I don't believe there's any coincidence in this life, and everything has a meaning and everything. So, okay, so I'm going to keep going since obviously nobody wants to talk to me tonight, that or they're not letting my comments come through. I'm not sure, although Mike got through. That doesn't always mean anything. So let's see. So positive self-talk. So we're talking, if you're just hopping on, we're talking about confidence in 3 areas of our life: ourself, our work, our career, and work or career, and our relationships. And you're from Maryland. Welcome. Glad to have you here. And so now we're going to talk about positive self-talk, right? What does that mean? Positive inner dialogue, right? Does anybody not talk good to yourself? I used to be like that, right? Tell yourself all the things that you couldn't do and that you were bad at. And then when I learned to love myself, then suddenly it was like, okay, I can do this. So I have affirmations all over my apartment, and so I can talk good to myself. Sometimes the external validation is needed to feel less isolated. Yes, I do agree with that. It is nice to have some external validation for that reason. I would agree with you there. But not needing it to boost your confidence so much, or to maybe to make you feel better about yourself, but not make you completely happy. Does that make sense? I'm lacking the word tonight. I apologize. And were you here the other night, Mike? I thought you were. Were you the one talking to me the other night? Just curious. And Micro Mini Stories, do you have a name? Did you tell me your name? I apologize if you did. Okay. Like I said, I'm up at 4:35. I don't like to normally do this time slot, but it's how it fits in my schedule. So, yes. Okay. I thought you were. You haven't shared your name? Okay. Just making sure that I didn't miss it. Okay. Is it Ram? Did I say that right? And where are you from? I mean, obviously, okay, so let me clarify something. So, I believe, now this is just my belief, that, okay, glad to have you here, that when we search or need that external validation, even if it is because we feel isolated, that's our ego, right? Our ego says, oh, it needs to be stroked a little bit, right? And I could be wrong. Like, I agree with you to a certain extent that it is nice to have external validation from people, right? If you're doing something maybe at work that you're doing a good job, or, but I don't think we have to have that, right? It's nice to have that sometimes. We have to have that, right? It's nice to have that sometimes, but I don't think we have to have that. Just my 2 cents. Take it or leave it, always. So let's see. Positive and inner dialogue, focusing on our capabilities and our potential, right? And so if we tell ourselves that we're capable of doing something, you're capable, right? My grandmother was a huge influence on my life growing up. And I know for the grammar police, you're going to go crazy over this, but you never said can't around my grandmother. Because if you said can't, my grandmother would say, can't never do nothing. That was what she'd tell you. You can do it, she'd say. Can't never do nothing. So I know that there's all kinds of grammar problems with that, but I'm just telling you what she said. So, what I believe, what you put in, what you tell yourself is what comes out, right? So if you tell yourself you're capable and you believe that you're capable, then you're capable. And so, yeah, that you have unlimited potential if you tell yourself that you have unlimited potential, right? And I also believe what we talk about, we bring about. So if you put it out there that you're capable and that you have potential, then, right, you're putting that out into the atmosphere, into the universe, and then that comes back to you. Just what I believe. Assertiveness, comfortable expressing your opinions and your needs without being aggressive or fearful of criticism, right? Anybody? I'm kind of aggressive. I'm a Scorpio, so I don't know if y'all know what that means. Comes back twofold. I totally believe that, Julie. Exactly. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything in the chat here. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. If you're just hopping on, tonight we're talking about confidence in 3 areas: ourself, our work and career, and our relationships. Thank you for the badge. I appreciate that so much. 722. It was just before it turned. Sorry. Numbers all the time, all day long. Hey, Frank, welcome back. Frank from Kentucky. Good to have you here. Thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. So being assertive, and I think you know, not only does that come with the confidence, but like I said, it's, if you missed it earlier, I was talking about how I believe the confidence and learning to love yourself kind of come hand in hand, right? When you learn to love yourself, you don't need that outside validation. Loving yourself gives you confidence, I think. I know when after my husband passed, I learned to love myself, and I have way more confidence than I ever did. Totally agree. Most people don't know this about me. When I was a child, I mean, I've always had the gift to gab if I knew you, but if I didn't know you, I was an extremely shy child. And I actually got in an argument with my grandma one time over being so shy, because my grandma wasn't shy at all. Different grandmother. And she passed away, and we never spoke because we were in an argument over that. But my point is when, after my husband and I first met, we lived in rural Iowa, and to get anywhere, it was a good half an hour, 45-minute drive to go anywhere, to, go out to eat, go shopping, whatever, right? Because I grew up in a small town. My grandmas are hilarious. Oh, yes. 2 separate personalities, but great people. What I was saying is that, so we drove 45 minutes. My husband and I hadn't been together very long. And I think I was like 19 years old, 18 years. I think I was 18 years old, actually. And because we were together when I was 16. And we get to a place to go out to eat, and it's completely packed, right? Like, you didn't even have to go in to know it was packed, right? The parking lot was just packed. And I wouldn't go in. Like, I had no self-esteem. I had no confidence. I didn't love myself. I didn't even know who I was to love myself, to be honest with you. I didn't even know who I was until after my husband passed. I was extremely quiet until my 40s. I think it has something to do with the 40s, really. Like, I always tell everybody, my give a crap button broke after my 40s. So that started the process, right? But I wouldn't go in, and literally made my husband drive 45 minutes back home, and we ate at home because I was so shy and I wouldn't go in because I had no confidence with myself. Yes. Yeah, you agree? Yeah, it's just something about your 40s. I don't know. I could be wrong. But yeah, so learning, sorry, squirrel. I kind of got sidetracked there. So being assertive, I've always been what I would say a non-sugarcoater, right? So I can be very assertive at times, but learning to be assertive and be comfortable. And I always say being assertive but not rude. There's a difference. There again, my grandmother who didn't have great grammar, she was very assertive and very straightforward and a non-sugarcoater, but she did it in a way where, bless your heart, Grandma, she knows someone talk about her. But sometimes she was just rude, right? Conviction. There you go. Kyle, welcome. Where are you from? If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are and where you're from. My name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. And so sometimes she could just be rude, right? And so I saw that growing up. And so I wanted to be assertive. I wanted to be a straightforward person, right? I just tell it how it is. But I try never to hurt anyone, right? So there's a difference. If you're funny, all your sins are forgiven. Don't get me started on all that. I've been down enough rabbit holes. We could go on all night. Okay. So giving your opinions, like I said, without being aggressive, and there again, without being fearful of criticism, right? And what I tell everybody now is that, other people's opinions of me is none of my business. I really don't care, right? Like me, love me, it doesn't really matter to me, right? Because what matters to me is I love myself. And at the end of the day, that's all that's important to me. Now, yeah, do I want people to like me? Sure. But my life doesn't revolve around that, right? Kyle Clark, welcome. Thank you for the badge. Sure. But my life doesn't revolve around that, right? Kyle Clark, welcome. Thank you for the badge. Intent matters. Oh, yes. 150 million %. I totally agree. Intent matters. Truth? Okay. All right. So we're going to flip over here. So now we're going to talk about realistic expectations. And we're going to kind of hop over into from ourselves to more the work career related confidence. And so confident people set achievable goals and don't get discouraged by setbacks. Now this is huge, right? Because so many people think that if they try something, whether it be for work or their career, and they have a setback, a lot of times then they just quit. They just give up, right? And what they don't realize is that when the setbacks is what is actually propelling you forward, right? Setbacks are your learning experiences. That's how you learn and that's how you grow. And so if you never had a failure or a setback, you would never grow or expand as a person. Now here's the key to that, and sometimes people forget this, is learning something from that setback and not doing that over and over and over again. Now sometimes it does take us a couple times, right? Need to break down bad patterns to rebuild better ones. Exactly. Oh, of course. I agree 100%. And that's for the last year and a half since my husband passed. That's what I've been working on, is breaking down, walking through the storm, breaking down those old patterns and bringing in new ones. Because when I move forward in another relationship someday, I don't want to carry those bad patterns that I had with my husband into a new relationship, right? And I truly believe that that's why so many relationships don't work, is because we all carry in these traumas, right? Whether it be traumas from our childhood, traumas from our, teenage years, our 20s, whenever, right? And we have these traumas and maybe bad relationship experiences, and then we bring it all together, and then they have bad experiences and traumas, and then we come into a relationship and then we go, I can't figure out why it won't work. So if people would just learn that, we have to heal those traumas and, like you said, change those patterns and have new, better patterns, and then maybe our relationships would work better. But we all hop into these relationships as adults, especially if we have childhood trauma, thinking that, oh, well, I'm 18 years old, that trauma stops at the door. And it doesn't. It really doesn't, right? It just, most of the time as adults, it just manifests itself in other ways. Depression, anxiety, alcohol, drug use, addictions, whatever it may be, right? Anger issues. And so, we're taking generally two unhealed people and we're putting them together and then go, I can't understand why the divorce rate is crazy. So just saying, sorry for your loss. May your journey be as smooth as possible. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that so much. My husband and I were together since I was 16 years old. We were together since I was 16 years old. We were together for 32 years. If you're new here, I'm assuming you missed the very beginning. My husband, for TikTok purposes, unalived himself September of 23. And that's when I discovered that I have abilities to talk to my guides, and then they breadcrumbed me to my purpose, which is to be here and to help other people through their traumas and their loss, and basically just to help others. And so that's why I'm here, and I'm glad that you're here. Welcome. Okay, so let's see. So like I said, setbacks are normal. Failure is normal. Actually, setbacks and failure, like I said, is what makes our experience. Because if we don't have those, then we don't grow, right? I know when my kids were little, I sold Mary Kay Cosmetics, and that's what allowed me to stay home with my kids. And when I would go to meetings, my director would always say, she would say, okay, if you were on the phone calling people to try to line up classes or parties or whatever you were doing, right? They would say, try to get 10 no's. That was your goal. It wasn't 10 yeses, it was 10 no's, because they knew that if we got 10 no's, then, because at that point, the ratio was about, by the 10th no, then we would get a yes. But also it was teaching us that you had to have those no's, those setbacks, in order to get to that yes, right? Traumatic shifts can cause us to realign to our divine path. Yes, and I needed a course correction. I truly believe now that it was my husband's time. I truly believe that his soul contract was up, and that I needed a course correction. I have since learned that my husband was put in my life for a purpose, obviously, to help me gain the confidence, which is kind of crazy that we're talking about that tonight, to gain the confidence that I needed in order to fulfill my purpose, right? And I was becoming codependent on him, and I wasn't on that path to my purpose. And so I needed very much a course correction, and that if in the spiritual world, that tower moment to come down for me to get to where I am now. So if you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. I gotta grab a drink, guys. Sorry. You're also a medium? Oh, awesome. I would love to talk to you about that. You know, my friend and I went to a spiritual expo. We've been to 2 now since last fall. And I only got a few minutes to talk to one of the ladies who spoke. She's a medium. And I said, you know, you guys should offer like a time where people can come during this Spirit Expo and just like pick their brain and talk to them. Because especially for somebody like me, I've only been a medium for, let's see, I was talking to my guides after my husband passed, but it's only been a little over a year since I discovered that I could talk to others that have crossed over on the other side of the veil. And so, you know, it's I think it's nice to be able to have somebody to bounce things off of, right? I do have another gentleman that I've met through TikTok off of my TikTok lives who also talks to his guides. He does have a little bit of mediumship, but he more is into the guide thing. But it's nice to be able to have somebody to pick each other's brain of, you know, do you do it like this, or do you get this, or does that make sense? Welcome to the family. How long have you been a medium, can I ask? If you don't mind me messaging you or talking to you, because I would love to pick your brain sometime. Excuse me. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. And I just realized, guys, for some reason, my phone is not charging. I've been having some trouble with that. Okay, so on to the next thing. So confidence, we're going to go into relationships now. So confidence in relationships, whether dating or committed, involves feeling secure and self-assured in one's ability to navigate the complexities of a partnership. Boy, that was a lot, right? That's what my guide gave me. So, let's see. So let's break that down. So whether you're in a committed relationship or just dating, we need to feel secure, right? Confident in our relationship. Actually, I was just talking to somebody about that. Who was I talking to yesterday about? Oh, I know who it was. It was last night. I was just talking to somebody about that, you know, I think that's where, to me, jealousy comes into a relationship, maybe, because I think people can get jealous in a relationship if you're not if you're not sure of yourself, you're not secure in yourself, you don't love yourself enough. 100% message me. I have been connected for over 25 years since childhood. Oh, that's awesome. That is so cool. Real quick, I'm gonna follow you so I don't lose you. Did you follow me already? All right. Because I don't want to lose you. Sometimes if somebody don't follow me and I don't follow them back, they get lost. Really focused for about 5 and skill and maintenance. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's just nice to have, like I said, somebody to be like, because I know, like, you know, I have YouTube mediums because I follow like Alison Dubois. She used to have her own TV show. I know I'm getting off the subject here real quick. Squirrel. My husband and I used to make a joke about that. And, you know, how other people do it isn't how I do it, right? And maybe it's just because I'm learning. I don't know. But how I do it is also changing, I guess you could say. Because like when I first started being able to hear the other side, we all need to check and verify ourselves. Okay. Yep, I agree. When I first started hearing the other side, I would have to like be in meditation to get the messages. Does that make sense? And now they just come. If I have somebody who is say online and they want a message, it's easier for me to pull them in and know who I'm pulling in if I have a picture and a name. I don't want any other information ever, because usually I get that other personal information from them, so I can validate to that loved one who I'm speaking to and that I was actually speaking to their loved one, because it's something I would never know, right? Now, if somebody is sitting right next to me and I can like hold their hand, wow, it is like night and day difference. I can like pull that person in right away. And then I have other people from the other side, right, that just like hop right in. Like I have a cousin that he's just like overexcited all the time. And, I actually have to put boundaries up with him because I was channeling for somebody else one day and my cousin like popped in and it was like, okay, whoa, wait your turn, right? You got to wait your turn, right? Because when he's excited to get a message to his wife, he's excited, right? He wants me to do that message right away. So everyone's skills are different. And I'm finding that. It's just sometimes I feel there again, like I always tell everybody, I'm the circle that don't fit in the square, right? I'm the unique girl. And it seems like with my mediumship, I'm the unique girl, the circle that don't fit in the square also. So, and like I said, maybe it's just because I'm learning and things are just coming. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, back to the topic real quick. So being confident and secure in yourself, right? And then of course, trust comes into that. But I believe that if you're confident in yourself, then you'll be more confident in your relationship. And that's just my personal opinion. Being able to express your needs and your boundaries with your partner is always helpful, right? That they respect your boundaries, and being able to verbalize those boundaries and feeling secure and confident in that is extremely important. Let's see. And last but not least, to be able to clearly communicate your needs and, like I said, and your boundaries, and be in a respectful and assertive manner. I know before my husband passed, that's a pattern that I'm working on, that I was not great at explaining what I needed, my needs with him. Apply these lessons to your mediumship. You are teaching yourself at the same time as us. Yes. I know. It's hilarious because whatever my guides are telling me for the week is always, it's like, yeah, I know they're talking to me too, always. Like this afternoon, I put out a message, check my last video. It's like, I'm the guinea pig, and that's fine. I don't mind being the guinea pig for people. You like me? Oh, well, thank you. I can communicate. That's not the problem. Okay, Julie, so what is the problem? Do you want to tell me what the problem is? You're cool? Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. The circle that don't fit in the square, the unique girl, I don't hear I'm cool very often. So there again, I guess whoever said that earlier, I guess it's good to have that validation, even though I don't need it, but it's good to hear it. But Julie, do you want to elaborate on your comment about what is the problem? You can communicate it, but maybe is your confidence not good there, or you want to elaborate on that just real quick? If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Is it TJ? Welcome. And where are you from? My name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. If you're not familiar, I talk to my guides, and when I go live, they give me the topic. And so tonight's topic is we're talking about confidence. I'm actually just about finished here. Okay, Julie, well, I'm waiting for to see if you have a comment that comes up. I have to do my little plug or my guides get upset with me. If you're not familiar, I also have a YouTube channel. It's under Scorpio Medium. If you're not a subscriber over there, I would love it if you go over there and subscribe. You'll find all my videos that I have here over there. The only difference is that you'll find all my lives get uploaded over there. I usually go live Sunday through Wednesday between 7 and 8 o'clock Mountain Time is where you'll find me. I'm trying to get it worked out where I'll start doing my lives over there on Thursday nights in Scorpio Medium, because I have a lot of people on there that aren't on TikTok. So thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. And so that's my goal, but I haven't made it happen yet. Also, if you look in my bio here or my bio over there, you'll find my email addresses, which are scorpiomedium74 at Yahoo and Gmail, both the same, scorpiomedium74. So if you're interested in booking a channeling session with me to talk to somebody on the other side of the veil, you can do that through my email. And I think that's pretty much all of my plug that I have to do for the night. Does anybody have any questions or anything else they want to add or talk about real quick here? Anybody? 744. I see 44s. 44 is like my number, right? All day long. 144, 244, 344. And everywhere I go, 44s follow me. Okay. I'm a huge numbers person if you're new here. I'm huge into angel numbers, so. Anybody got anything else they want to say? Julie, you're welcome to message me to elaborate on that if it's not coming through. Sometimes guys, I apologize. They filter my comments. I have all my filters off. There's nothing I can do about it. So if you posted a comment and I didn't comment back, that's because I did not probably see it. I apologize. Not much I can do about it. You can inbox me and or email me, and if it's really important and you're trying to get a hold of me. That's all I have for tonight. If nobody else has anything else they want to say or add, going once, going twice, nobody? Okay, guys. Well, thank you all for all of the likes. He's a narcissist. Oh. I have an idea where you're going with that. Yeah. If you're saying you're trying to communicate with a narcissist, good luck. I believe in narcissist people. I believe okay, so here's the thing. I believe that there's two types of people, right? There's the people who have had trauma that become an empath, and then there's the people that have trauma that become a narcissist, right? They split. You have two paths, and you either become an empathic person or you become a narcissist. And trying to communicate for 30 years, yes, I understand completely. You can message me about it if you want. That's me, and he's a narcissist. Protect your energy. Yes. Do you know how to do that? And you know how to clear your energy too? I'm one that I pick up energy like I go to the grocery store, right? And I can tell because mine manifests in a stomach ache. I can always tell. I can drive through a town. My husband and I used to travel extensively when we lived in the Pacific Northwest, and we could drive through a little town, and I would get a stomach ache, and my husband would be like, "Maybe you should clear your energy," and I clear my energy, and it'd be great. No. So basically, you just want to put out that it's your intention to clear your energy. I always pretend that I have like a pot of hot gold poured down into my head, through my body, and I just say it's my intention to clear my energy, and I visualize that gold going down through my body and out my feet, and to clear my energy, and I visualize that gold going down through my body and out my feet and taking that energy out. That's what I do. It's always worked for me. It all starts with intent for both cleanse and shield. Yes, he drains you. Well, narcissists do, because it's like a hamster wheel is always the good analogy I love to use with narcissist people, right? First of all, they don't take any accountability or responsibility, so you'll never win, so to speak. Of course, winning is the ego, but you know what I'm saying. They'll just take you around and round and round. Thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. Anything that is not of my energy, I have my best interest, needs to leave my field now. Yep, that's another good way. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate that. Thank you for the badge. And so, you know, that's a hard one, because you can never get off that hand, because I don't want to say win, because winning has to do with the ego, right? But you'll never get off that hamster wheel with a narcissist. You just won't, right? Because like I said, they'll just take you round and round and round, and while you're going round and round and round, then like you said, your energy is drained, you're exhausted, and you literally got nowhere. The only way to win or get off is to just get off the hamster wheel and just be done with them, to be honest. And I'm not telling anybody, you know, leave anybody or anything like that, but sadly, that to me, that's the only way that is to get away from the narcissist. That's the only way to get off. You know, you just have to leave the hamster wheel. Let them run themselves. You know, I imagine myself putting medical armor. Okay, it's sad. Yeah, medieval. Thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. Okay, guys. Well, does anybody else have anything else they want to talk about or add to that real quick? Has good qualities. Well, they all do. They all do. But I guess it's a matter of, are you happy being on that hamster wheel, right? You know, my husband had a lot of narcissist tendencies as well, right? And I put up with that for 32 years. And now that he's gone, you know, I love him dearly, and you know, I will always love him. He'll always be in my heart. But you know, I'm not going to lie. I've never sugarcoated anything in my life, and I'm not going to start now, you know, and I swore when I started this journey, when my guide said, you have to get on social media, that I would always be authentic and I would always be honest. And I'm going to be honest with you. After my husband passed, I felt free. Just saying. I'm going to click back, make sure. Does he respect your boundaries? Yeah, what Kyle said. Does he respect your boundaries? Because if he doesn't, you know, he doesn't respect you, you know, and how much longer, you know, are you happy in that, you know, but only you can decide that, right? Nobody else can decide that. I filed for divorce because narcissist trauma responses. I'm in the middle of that now. Oh, you poor thing. Yeah, that's not an easy battle. I've tried and tried to stay in it. Is that what you're saying? Because like I said, you're just running yourself on a hamster wheel, wearing yourself out, right? If he doesn't respect your boundaries, which most of them don't, only you can make that decision. But like I said, you know, when my husband passed, there was a little part of me, I'm not going to lie, that felt free, right? Because for 32 years, you know, I apologized almost every argument, you know, until the end, but there was different circumstances at the end there. But yeah, you know, because I didn't, you get caught up in that, right? Do you love yourself more or love him more? Do you need him or want him? Kyle, you should be my co-host. What Kyle said. Exactly. Kyle, I'm going to write that down. I'm going to screenshot that. Sorry, guys. My hands are in the way. I just wanted to screenshot what you said so I can put that in my notebook, because I won't write that down. I won't remember to write it down after we're done. But exactly what Kyle said. Do you love yourself more? And that's the thing is, you know, do you want to spend the rest of your life on that hamster wheel, right? But like I said, unfortunately, only you can decide that. Exactly. Lots of questions, and only you have the answers to. Exactly. Kyle, you should be my co-host. Okay, guys. Well, if nobody else has anything else, and Julie, you're welcome to message me anytime if you need to talk. And I would love to talk to you too, Kyle, and pick your brain. But if nobody else has anything else, anybody accepts the responsibility. See, and that's the thing is narcissist, there is no responsibility there. at least every narcissist I've ever known, right? There's no personal responsibility, no accountability, no nothing, because they don't, in their mind, they don't do anything wrong, right? So how can you be in a relationship with somebody that never does anything wrong? Trust me, I've been there, done that. You know, if that person's never done anything wrong or takes accountability for anything, it's all you, then I hate to break it to you, you're not in a relationship. You're only in a relationship with yourself already. Kind of, right? Accountability matters. Exactly. You're so welcome, Julie. Anytime. That's what I'm here for. So message me if you need to. Are you following me? And by the way, if you follow me, I usually follow you back. Generally. That's the phrase of my divorce. Yeah, that's sad. Well, good luck with your divorce, because my husband was going through a divorce when we got together, so I understand. Been there, done that. So, okay, guys, well, I'm going to wrap this up. I try to keep it just a little under, right at an hour. I know I'm a little early, but I hope you all have a great night. Thank you all for the conversation, the comments, all of the likes, everything. I appreciate you guys so very much. And on that note, I hope you all have a great night, and remember to make tomorrow great, because it is a choice. And let's see, today is Tuesday, so I'll be back tomorrow night, sometime a little after 7 o'clock Mountain Time. Hope to all see you then. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm going to say until we meet again.